Don't know me, I'm Shahar Boy, I am with Curious Mondo, and today I'm going to introduce you to another artist that we have here that she's amazing, makes amazing pieces, and of course is an amazing instructor as well. And as usual, while we are together, the course that I'm going to be talking about is 40% off at curiousmondo.com. 40% is a huge discount. You know, it's really a must-have investment if you're interested in the topic of precious metal clays. Yes. Now, the cool part is that this artist, her name is Stephanie Chavez. She's a local artist and she's a master PMC instructor. So she knows everything that you can think of about precious metal clay. What is precious metal clay? Well, you actually buy online the clay, comes in small packages, and you can buy silver, you can buy copper, you can buy gold. She will be teaching in this course how to use silver mostly, because of course it's more affordable to everybody, and you learn how to deal with the metal clay in a jiff. It's really all that you need. You don't need special tools for that other than a small kiln where you can put the piece there. Now, with that said, even if you don't have a small kiln, which is not a huge investment, there will be people in your town that have it, and you can ask them to put your piece there or pay for them to put your piece there. So it's not a huge problem. Many stores that sell beads, for example, they also have kilns because many of them teach PMC or they sell the PMC, so that's another way that you can look if you don't have. But she will cover everything about it. Now, if you have ever experienced playing with metal clay, you may know that sometimes can be frustrating if you don't know the right road. And this is where Stephanie comes in. Now, before I talk more about the course in itself, I want to show you a couple of pieces that she has made. Let's see the first one. Look at this, the earrings, which are part of this course, of course, and they are gorgeous. And you see the diversity, the different textures that you can apply. It's really a very versatile material. And the next one, look at this, also belongs to this course. And then total different options here that you can use, of course, as earrings or as pendants as well. The important part is that not only you're going to be learning how to use the PMC, but also how to make different textures, different looks, which is very important if you're thinking about jewelry. And in itself, not only you can make these pieces for yourself, and you're going to be the talk of the town because you're going to make very unique pieces, but you can also do this as a side business. And when I say side business, is selling the pieces. This is silver at the end, so you're making very sophisticated pieces, and or you can even teach other people. Once you know, right, there is no problem into teaching. This course is called Beginning Precious Metal Clay, also known as PMC, jewelry, specifically for jewelry. And it is done by Stephanie Chavez, which again, I told you she's a master PMC instructor. She has given classes all around the country here, and she has 4 or 5 classes here with Curious Mondo as well. And she knows everything you need to know about PMC. But I know you want to know more about Stephanie, so let's watch a clip with her.
Before we dive into the actual lesson, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Stephanie Chavez, and I have been working with metal clay since 2008. I took my first class probably maybe 2007, 2008, and was completely hooked. I got certified through Rio Grande and have just continued to keep learning and teaching. And it's just been really fun, and I'm always continually learning and more stuff and teaching, and I love sharing it, and I love how excited people get when they make their own pieces, and I sometimes get a little too excited, but every time I open the kiln it's like Christmas, because you get to see your final pieces finished and polish them up, and it's real exciting. And I love working with metal clay because it's really forgiving. There's really no waste at all in metal clay. Everything can be reused or fixed and stuff. So,
nice.
Yeah. I really love it.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I guess we're ready to get started.
Yeah, so I think metal clay is really fascinating of how it is made. It was introduced into the United States in approximately 1990, and it is made from recycled silver, so either pre-consumer or post-consumer silver too. But what it is, it's a fine silver particle. You'd have to look at it under a microscope, it's so fine, but fine silver particles that are held together with an organic binder. And once those binders burn away in the kiln or with a torch, then the silver comes together in what's called sinters. So the silver will come together and sinter, and then once it's fired or finished, you have a pure silver piece. So, or sterling silver, depending on whatever clay you're working with. There's also base metal clays like copper, bronze, lots of different base metal clays. So it's really fun, and it takes texture beautifully because there's so many. I can show you actually a package here of what it looks like before it's fired. So it starts out like a lump of clay like this. So it's essentially not clay at all. It's just microscopic fine silver particles that are held together with the organic binder. And like I said, those binders burn away and you're left with pure silver. So it's really fascinating to think that you start with this and you can make like all this amazing jewelry with it.
There you go. You just saw the PMC that she was holding for you. It's incredible, because the first time I saw the packet, I said, just that? I'm used with polymer clay and other things that come in bigger sizes, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's not enough to do anything. But lo and behold, you can make a lot of things with just one package. And at the end, it's going to be silver, silver, silver. Yes, it's just like magic. You also saw on the table where she taught the whole course that she didn't have much, right? A tile, the PMC, of course, a mug warmer, just to make the clay dry faster. So very, very few tools that you need to do with this. So if you ever thought, can I become a silversmither? Well, you know that involves quite a bit of an investment to have all the tools that you need and the setup, right? Because you need the right kind of table, the right kind of everything. With this, really, it's very simple. You can do in your kitchen table, and that's another very cool thing. And if you just join us now, we are talking about the beginning precious metal clay jewelry with Stephanie Chavez, which is a course she gave at curiousmondo.com, and where we have it at 40% off. It's 40% off now. The course took 3 days for her to go to beginning to end, 9 segments, and each segment about 45 minutes or so. So there is a lot of content. It's just not a quick video showing you how to make something. It's really all that you need to know to get started in PMC. Everything that you need to know. You saw how relatable she is, how fun she is. So in a very good way of telling you how to go, and she makes several pieces as well. Again, it's just not a quick video with something for you to get done. No, it's for you to master this technique. And now at 40% off is a super deal. It is a super deal. So you really should go to curiousmondo.com. It's right on the first page, and get this course as soon as you can, because it is a must if you want to get started with jewelry making. You know, playing with silver, with the precious metal clay, you're going to love it. We have several courses on the topic because people get addicted to this. Once they take this first course, they want the intermediate, they want the other ones, and there you go. It becomes an obsession for them. But I know you want to know more on how all this works, because it sounds too good to be true. So let's see a sneak peek of the class.
Today I'm gonna show you how to create some different textures, make your own textures, and we'll create earrings, and I'll show you how to torch fire them. So here's a piece of scratch foam, and if you put a little bit of masking tape on the back of it, it will help it last longer and be a little more stable.
After all, you are designing on them.
Yeah, and you can reuse these over and over. So I like to make them a little stronger. I think I forgot my scissors. So now I'll show you. We'll see if this will show up. But I'm just going to create.
Any chance we can move that little cup?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, I'll tell you what that's for in a little bit. So if I just, they're not going to be exactly the same because.
So you're basically just designing that
Yeah.
texture on there.
Yep. You want to see what it will look like. This is the fun. I didn't press the one side in very well, but that kind of gives you an idea. You can see some of the ink lifted off because I was using the pen. But I'll make a pair of earrings with those and we'll see how they turn out. I think they're going to look cool. So I am going to make this pendant a little bit thicker because I want it to be a pendant. So sometimes I like them to be a little chunkier. So let's see. So this is, I marked these, they tend to come off. This is 6 cards thick. And then I'm going to add 1 card on top of it. And you'll see, I'm going to do the same thing I did kind of with the earrings and remove the 1 card. So I'm going to roll this out. So I kind of pick up my clay and flip it directions if I want it to get to a certain shape where I was trying to get it to be a little more round on this. So now I'm going to flip it over onto my texture. And I'm going to put the 6 cards under. So I'm removing the 1 card and we're going to go down to 6. And then just do 1 pass over your texture. And can you see how beautiful that texture is? This is one of my favorites.
Oh, yes. And point it towards rain, and then we can really see it. Oh, yeah.
And this particular molding compound says it takes about 12 to 17 minutes to set up, but I've actually found it's a lot faster than that.
And even that, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So for this particular button, since it has a shank on the back, I'm going to press it into my molding compounds. So I'm going to put it up here on, can you guys see that? See if I can move that. So just so it's not on my work surface, but it's on the marble. And then I'm going to press the button right into it. I don't want to move it around a lot. And then I kind of like to create a little lip on it. So I just press the molding compound around it.
Why do you like that little lip around it?
It just holds, when I'm pressing my clay into the piece, it will hold the clay into place and it will give it some more dimension. And it doesn't leave an indent. If it were to indent, then that means the mold is not all the way set up. So this one is all the way completely set up. So now I can pull the button out. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but the detail is amazing.
Oh yeah, look at that.
So.
Amazing, isn't it? I really like the fact that it is so simple to make astonishing pieces. I always thought that dealing with silver would be such a, learning curve, and being able to have everything that I needed, because my first introduction to jewelry making was actually the traditional silversmithing setup, right? And I thought, wow, I have to have all these things and texture hammers and blah, blah, blah. And then the PMC is a life-changing thing because you can create amazing things. You saw her, what she did with a button, right? So again, another reason for you not to let this offer go by you because that's not a good idea if you let it pass by you. 40% off while we are live at curiousmondo.com. This is the beginning precious metal clay jewelry with Stephanie Chavez, and it's right on the front page for you, so you don't even have to go looking for that. It's a very unique opportunity, and you saw just in this sneak peek how many pieces she creates. And let me tell you, during 3 days she did create a lot of them. So she's not only showing you the technique, but showing you ideas on how you can transform those in pieces that you'll be so proud to wear or even to sell. Because again, people will see you wearing and say, oh my gosh, where did you get this? And you say, hey, I made it. And then, can you make one for me? Sure. Would you like silver, copper, or gold? And there you go. So that's easy, that easy. But I know that you saw her playing with the clay and things, and you think, I don't know if the end result is going to be that good, because after all, it's clay, it's not the silver. Oh, it's silver. It is silver that everything else burns in the kiln. So what you have left is just silver. But let's take a look at the end result.
When I am making bells, I do like using the flexible style of clay, just because then you have a little bit longer working time, and because you're making them dimensional, the flex really helps with that.
Okay,
so you can see the different shapes. So those are some different shapes of bells that you can make, but you're not limited to those. You can cut your own, make your own shapes, and I'll show you a few. So I'm going to roll these out 4 cards thick. So I'm rolling this out through 4 cards. I'm going to remove one of them and then texture. Okay. So now if I want to use a template, let's use this shape here. So I'm just going to cut the shape out. And if you notice, I flipped it over, so my texture's on the other side. And I'm going to I use these brass and copper tubes a lot. This one looks like it'd be a little too big for what I want. So I'm going to go to this size. And I'm just going to wrap my clay around it. And when the clay is already wet, it's already starting to kind of stick to itself. So I don't need to add a lot, but I'm going to add a little bit of water. Now that it's dry, it just slides right off. So now I would come in and finish this. So I'm not going to attach it, because on this pendant, we're going to do something different. But now you can see you have a bell that you can then attach to any piece. So I would use my paste and the pacemaker and the paste, like the slip, and attach that how we showed to attach layers before. And now you have a full finished bell. And I found this cool leaf. So you guys can see this leaf. Can you see all the veins in that leaf?
Yeah.
And all the texture and how cool it is? I'm using a wider brush for this, but I'm just going to start brushing a layer of paste directly on the leaf.
What?
So now we're at 4 layers, and I'm just going to do one last final layer to show you guys. So you could do as many layers as you want if you want this to be really thick, but I kind of like the fine delicateness of it that the finished result will be. So you guys will see that. So you can see I'm just roughly painting on the paste. I'm going to let that dry, and since it's such a thin layer, it won't take long at all.
All right, are we going to look in there, check out that
So now
kiln?
we're going to check out the kiln. This one I can quench. So we're going to sizzle of the pacemaker on this, just because I would have preferred it to be a little bit thicker. You can see that it kind of cracked in some of the areas. So if I would have done more layers of the paste, it would have
Tilt that over to Cliff so we can see the cracks that you're talking about.
But
Heather asks, can you paste over the leaf and fire again?
I could, but the part where the veins are has already burned away, so it would kind of take
Oh, it would
away
cover
from the
that?
texture. Yeah. So we could go, maybe over this top part, but then we're going to cover the bell. So. But it still looks really cool.
It looks way cool.
I could keep polishing it, but I want to show you how cool it looks.
Yes, I love that you can do this. I mean, okay. Check it out. It's a wow moment. Come on. Let's post it in chat. Wow, wow, wow. Because look, we got a leaf. Found beauty in nature as there is so much of it. And now we were able to replicate it into silver. Ah!
Amazing. Isn't this so exciting when you see her taking the pieces out of the kiln? And did you see how small that kiln is? So you can have in your house without any issues at all. But did you see? And then she was finishing the piece. Let me show you again the pictures of some of the finished pieces. So let's take a look at one of them. And you can see how amazing they end up. Of course, she has to polish and do whatever she needs to do, but then you have a silver piece that is just amazing. And that's what you had a glimpse by watching this live, right? Because you saw her, how she makes. And have you noticed how you can use almost anything you already have in your studio and turn that into pieces of jewelry, real jewelry, silver, copper, or gold. In this course, she did focus on silver because, again, it's it's a big seller. Silver is silver. Everybody likes that. And it's not too expensive for you to get started. And it's also easier than the copper for you to manipulate. So she made all the right decisions before putting this course together. And I want to invite you to go to curiousmondo.com right on the front page, and you're going to see that this course with Stephanie Chavez, Beginning Precious Metal Clay Jewelry, is 40% off. Again, a ton of instructions and a ton of pieces. You even saw that with a leaf from your garden, you can make a piece of jewelry, right? That people will say, wow, how amazing, how many details. And little did they know there are the details of the leaf in itself. So it's a great way for you to start making silver pieces. A very low investment, because your highest investment will be a small kiln. But again, in your town, you have kilns where people can rent you the space. So you just go take there. Not a big deal at all if you don't want to invest into a kiln at the beginning. But the fact is that you're going to create amazing jewelries. And if you already know PMC, you probably heard of Stephanie Chavez and how she is well known in this environment, because she is really a master trainer in PMC. So she's the right person for you to go to when you're thinking about learning PMC. So again, I hope you have enjoyed, and I hope now you know more about Stephanie and you know more about this course, and you have an opportunity in front of you. It's just a matter of taking action. And I hope you have enjoyed this time together. I